So last night's New Hampshire primary gave us a very, very clear winner, Mitt Romney, with about 39% of the vote. But Ron Paul also had a strong showing of about 23%. Having also gotten a strong showing in Iowa raises a question about the influence of Ron Paul, particularly on money, which, Dan, we're writing about today.
That's right.
I mean, Ron Paul is showing staying power. While he's not a winner of the caucus in Iowa or the primary, basically, he's in there for the count, and he's probably going to be in there throughout the next couple of primaries. And his views and his ideas are going to have an impact. That's what you're saying.
Right, right. I mean, and I think if you look at his performance, as you said, this far, at this point, he's either going to be the challenger for Romney, or he might go third party at this point. He has very, very outspoken supporters. They love him and they worship him.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you look at the composition of his supporters. There, half of them are under the age of 30. They identify themselves as a bit more moderate or liberal, but they're very focused on financial issues, like the budget deficit seems to be the one, that they're very keen on. It seems to me like he does have something more than just a sort of flash in the pan a la Huntsman, in New Hampshire, Santorum, or Santorum in Iowa. Santorum had a strong showing. He's nowhere in Iowa.
I think the important thing is that what this does, the longer that Ron Paul is around, the more the questions will have to change. Because he has such strong and narrowly focused views on isolationism, on the money question,
Federal Reserve,
on cutting deficits, on defense, it's just going to force journalists and others to ask questions of Romney for now, and then eventually, if he does make a third-party run, or if by some fluke he upsets Romney for the GOP nomination, to answer tougher questions about these issues that right now are kind of being pushed aside a little bit.
Just to go back, he is not going to upset Romney for the GOP nomination. Do you really think that's
I don't think it's going to happen, but it's hard.
He's
had two strong showings in a row. We'll have to see what happens in South Carolina. I don't think it's possible, but stranger things.
But when you're
happen.
second runner-up in a beauty contest, you shape the field, is what you're saying. And so what are the ideas, though, that from a financial perspective, though, that could actually start to wend their way into the debate in a way that might be interesting?
Right. I think that obviously the Fed is a huge one. That's his, his big crusade.
His signature, sort of, which is basically that he doesn't like the Fed.
Well, he doesn't like it. He likes strong currency. That's the big one. And from a voter perspective, right, it sounds great to have a strong dollar. So the other candidates are going to have to explain why they don't favor a strong dollar.
Because the opposite of a strong dollar means I like a weak dollar.
Right, right.
It's nobody.
Right.
It's not.
It does. It puts people and it puts the other candidates in an awkward position of having to explain a very nuanced position on a very complex matter, and whereas Ron Paul has like a
although the argument you can make, forget the gold standard arguments, you can say it's strong dollar. The dollar will be strong if investors around the world have great faith in the United States government's creditworthiness and its ability to pay its debts.
But
which basically comes down to having dealing with the deficit issues and also dealing with growth.
But at the same time, as we were talking about earlier, that Ron Paul also has very strong views about the U.S. industrial military complex, and its position in the world. And so couple that, they might like the idea of a strong dollar, but then he's also going to pull the United States out of a lot of the world.
And that would resonate, though, with a lot of voters, I think, especially, the disaffected, the youth and
right.
moderates and some swing voters that don't like all these wars in the Middle East. They don't like all the money that's going to them. So
and the European crisis and whether the United States should
how can they not like all those wars in the Middle East?
Right.
All right. Well, look, we'll talk more about this and other things tomorrow with more breaking views.